What is up, guys? Zan here. First video of the 3-4 Bear defensive game plan. I just want to say thank you so much, whether you guys found me through my YouTube channel or the Twitch channel. Thank you so much for the support on this game plan. Really does mean a lot. Thank you so much for all the support. You guys have been awesome on both of those platforms. I really enjoy being able to upload every day and stream for you guys, and really means a lot that you guys are supporting me here through this defensive game plan. This defensive game plan is going to take a look at basically defending everything meta that you might come across in Madden 20. So this is going to talk about your Oakland tour. This is going to talk about your rollout corner metas, whether it be from your near close or your tight offset or gun bunch type formations. It's going to talk about defending spread concepts. It's also going to defend, your odds and ends, things like Wildcat, Taysom Hill type packages as well. So in this first video, I wanted to get my personnel and audibles out of the way, talk about those things to set you guys up for the best success possible. Now, obviously, we're here in practice mode, so I'm going to go slowly through the roster, what types of players you want for certain spots. I'm going to name the player that I have in Ultimate Team for those of you that are Ultimate Team players, and I will talk about the skill sets for those of you that are Regs players and have to make a Regs decision or a CFM roster choice. So let's go ahead and start it off here. We'll go just right down the aisle here. So pretty easy. We'll start on the D end. Defensive ends, or outside linebackers rather, the edge players in this defense. These are players that you want to be edge threat type players. You need those edge threat elite abilities. Edge threat elite is preferred. I will use edge threat elite and no outsiders if you guys are playing MUT. So for me personally, my outside linebacker on this side is going to be Lawrence Taylor, Jadeveon Clowney, Khalil Mack, Julius Peppers, one of those types of players that can get those abilities. You want them to be premier edge rushers and also use the abilities to help set the edge against your stretch type calls. So important. And we'll talk about that as we go through the Oakland tour portion of the video, why the no outsiders is so important for some of the setups that you guys will run. So you're going to have a Lawrence Taylor type right here. Now we go to the defensive ends. The defensive ends I run on what I call a platoon. I will have guys that I use that defend the run, and then against your passers, in particular your rollout corner type players or your compression type passers, I will have a different style player. So obviously if you're facing a runner, you're going to be cool with a 3-4 defensive end, an Aaron Donald type, a Reggie White type, a big bodied plug in the middle, basically, type. They're really, really important for stopping the run, especially the fullback dives out of near close flex. We'll talk about things in that video as well that you can do if you don't want big bodies. But when you face passers, I typically go to your 4-3 outside linebacker type. So your Keith Bullock, your Telvin Smith type mold, a guy that comes to mind would be like a Levante David, that type of player. So you want to go find yourself a guy that's a good cover linebacker at the outside linebacker position that is not a premier pass rusher, because we will be dropping them off the line against passers in my main defense. So you do want a guy that can, stick his nose in there with no abilities and try to stop the run, be a body, shoot some gaps in the run game. And then you're going a guy who can, drop into a spy, drop into a hook off the line, occasionally play some man coverage off the line when you're facing passers. So you'll actually need a guy for the run and a guy for the pass. So that's just kind of the deal when it comes to running this defense, is you have to have personnel to run Bear. There are some limitations to Bear, and we can work around them if you guys roster the right types of players. So in this spot, you're going to use that role. And also in this spot, you're going to use that role of platoon, where you have a run guy and a pass coverage guy. This spot right here is the single most important spot on the team. This is the only player that will never, ever, ever be cut blocked. He has to be a pass rush elite, power specialist, run stopper mold. So for me personally, I actually run Aaron Donald at this spot with those abilities. He needs to be a player that is working through the middle, splitting double teams, getting to the quarterback, and also stopping the run. He is the center of your defense. He is the most important thing in this defense, because when you're facing those rollout corners, they're going to be cut blocking those edge players. You need to be able to try to contain them to the pocket a little bit, and you're going to need to be able to eat from the inside with that D tackle. So This spot for me is my Aaron Donald mold, and that never changes. He never comes off the field. Outside, let's talk about the outside players. Corners. These are non-ability players in this defense. These are going to be guys that can run, they can cover, they can play mostly zone, and they're going to play a little bit of match. Very rarely do I go to the blitz everyone, play man coverage, pinch bucko type defense. This is not that style 3-4 bear. I find this to be a better bear than the send 7 bear because you can stop all those things and get pressure without having to send 7 and cover everything yourself. So you're going to want guys, the most important things for this position are speed, agility, play recognition, and zone coverage. We'll talk about why in the coverage videos. So you definitely want to have speed, agility, zone coverage, play recognition. Safeties. Safeties are going to be your users in this defense. I want you to get the best user that you feel comfortable with possible. For me, I use Calvin Johnson, free safety golden ticket Calvin Johnson. And then the other spot I use is Taylor Mays, golden ticket Taylor Mays. But you guys are going to need guys that you can lurk. You want height, you want jump, you want speed. Because you have abilities on your 2 edge rushers and your nose tackle. That means that you have to have guys that you can lurk with that don't have lurkers. So you want to optimize how much ground you can cover by having speed, height, jump, preferably some catch rating as well. So for these 2 spots, I will use Megatron, Taylor Mays, Mike Evans, golden ticket, who's 6'5", say that corner item. You want to have guys that have some serious range. Super important. We're going to be running this defense flipped and unflipped, so both these spots are users for you. So you want them to be, interchangeable. Same thing over here on the outside corner. Same deal as what we said here. You want a guy that's speed, agility, zone coverage, play recognition. For your inside linebackers in this defense will either rush if you're blitzing, or they will cover typically going to cover a hook area of the field. They are not super pivotal to the defense in coverage, but they are so important for the run defense. So for the inside linebacker spot, I like to go with guys that can shoot gaps in the run game. I know this sounds crazy, but I like a little bit more undersized middle linebackers. I like guys that have a specific body style to shoot those run gaps. Guy that comes to mind for me is Devin Bush. His body build allows him to run blitz very, very well. And you'll see in our run defensive videos that that spot is very important. Other names that do a good job: Ryan Shazier, Brian Urlacher, Patrick Willis. And I've also heard nothing but good things for people that run this defense about golden ticket Troy Polamalu. Very, very, very good inside linebacker, out of position middle linebacker, golden ticket Troy Polamalu. So those are the players in the molds for this defense. You want edge threat elites. You're going to have 2 outside linebackers active with abilities. They're going to have edge threat elite, no outsiders. Those are the 2 most important abilities for that spot. And then your third ability player is going to be your nose tackle. Your defensive ends need to be a platoon. You need a run stopper and you need a cover guy. You're going to pull the run stoppers off the field and insert the cover guys against the shotgun. Your corners are of the same mold: speed, jump, agility, play recognition, zone coverage. And your users, your 2 safeties, height, speed, jump, catch. Those are the guys that you need to be able to user and lurk the field with. So those are your player styles for this defense. Now let's talk about the audibles. The audibles are going to be very, very simple. I keep cover 2 invert, cover 3, pinch dog 3, and a very, very, very specific situational defense, buck SS3 in my audibles. These are my 4 audibles for this formation. If you take a look at my stats on these, between these 4 plays, you see buck SS3. I've got almost 1,700 calls in. Pinch dog 3, I've got nearly 13,000 calls in. So we're talking between those 2 plays alone, almost 15,000 play calls, 14,000 play calls. And then you take a look at the cover 2 invert. I've got nearly 16,000 play calls in that. So you're talking between pinch dog 3, buck SS3. That's a good, 14,000. and then you add in another 16,000. That's 30,000 play calls in just 3 plays between cover 2 invert and those plays. And then cover 3, I've got an extra 4,000 calls in that. So we're talking about a defense that I've got, 35,000 snaps in this year. This is a defense that I've run all year long. I've faced everything in the game with it. I've tried to learn how to defend everything in the game with it. It's not to say it's the best, it's stopping everything, but it's probably, for me, the most well-rounded defense in the game if you know what adjustments to make, when, and why. And that is what I'm going to try to provide you here in this defensive game plan. So once again, guys, I thank you so much for the support. I really appreciate you checking out this defense. Hopefully this video allows you to set your roster correctly, get your Audibles set. Let's go ahead and move on to the next video. We're going to talk about defending the Oakland Tour.